So I just use the same colors as has been demonstrated to us. And I just showed, I think I was just practicing. I didn't show any blocking. I think I wanted to highlight the main direction of the wind, the west winds. Those are the strongest winds. So I think I would have actually gradient this or fill it in. I think, but my lines are showing that the wind is coming straight through the building. I think I would improve it by showing the blocking of the main direction of the wind. But I think what I was trying to show is just to keep the flow of the wind just going through the building. I used dotted lines just to emphasize the time. And then I did a radial gradient on all of the wind direction versus just the main wind directions.
Great comment.
Yes.
Anybody have any comments? Harrison, you look intrigued. You look intrigued.
Say something, Harrison. Say your love. It's good. There you go.
Okay. So, here's something that I think illustrates why I'm not necessarily a fan of text. Because if you wrote that on this diagram, I would have been totally lost. But it's because I get what you're saying when I try to visualize it, but the text, I would have been trying to piece it together to some unknown geometry. But also, the more powerful thing that you guys should probably keep in mind throughout all of your architectural education, not just here, is that without text, other ideas can come to mind. It's now no longer is it just one-way communication, but now it's art. And one of the things that I love about art is that it's kind of a two-way bit of communication, because the artist speaks to us with whatever they put on the page, and we can make inferences and have an internal conversation with ourselves, with the artist, whoever it is, internally, and come up with other ideas about the piece that's presented. In this particular case, this diagram, what it tells me is that the geometry is not really all that important. What it tells me is that the most important thing really is to have line of sight or line of wind. Some kind of axial clearance, regardless what the form is. I need to get clearance to a centralized point in my space, or spaces, whatever it is. And, you know, like if you think about it, this kind of reminds you of the view rows, right? Remember how the view rows is kind of just like sticking out everywhere? It's the inverse of the view rows, where now our goal is to just have a clearance to get wind into the space, generally speaking. That wasn't what you said.
No, but yeah, that's a
But it's true.
idea. With what you're saying though, would I move those lines to like directly west where the strong winds are? Like create my openings right in the middle where the strong winds are?
If you want to capture strong winds,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess this is showing that it's still capturing
It's capturing
some winds.
the
right.
moderate winds, which is what most of us did with our louvers. Predominantly, we either modified the strong winds or you know, eliminated them entirely. So, you know, you've kept in tune and you know, you're in tow with everyone else in the class by this diagram kind of blocking the really heavy winds, the really powerful winds. Some of you probably just think I'm crazy about that, but I think it's great that I can come to a totally different conclusion, tell her about it, and now she as a designer sees the logic in her own design and can then use it or modify it or adapt it or just ignore it. It's up to her as the designer, really. Any other comments or questions? Anyway, so that's why I don't like text.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Also, I noticed on a couple of them that this dotted line has been used quite well. Generally speaking, you guys are either putting an overlay here and then running your dotted line to it, to an area that seems logical, reads well, or you're actually running your dotted line to the center, and then your other dotted line, I guess, kind of comes up and goes like to the end of the data, which is reasonable as well. Yeah, so I haven't, on that particular subject, I haven't identified anything that seems like a crazy outlier that makes me say, whoa, 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 we gotta talk about this. So I think that's good. That's a success for all of you. Okay. So that's all of our diagrams. I think it was very, very helpful for you guys to see. I do want to start to introduce you guys to the Grasshopper interface without Ladybug. So it's just to get you thinking about data a little bit. So we're going to do that, but let's take a 10-minute break, and then we'll jump back into it, because we did a lot of time.